Welcome to the first ever World of Tanks show.
That means the ads are bad.
The camera is fuzzy.
The commentators are cringy.
I'm Solomon.
I'm Dan.
And you're watching Double Tracked. Then here he comes. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Ching Chong. How to play artillery. 760 meters away. And no problem. World of Tanks. Wasn't even aimed at him, but of course, Russia, no problem. 1 second. Timer hits 0. He's floating. His tank is floating.
Depending on what you're playing, that may mean the difference between you killing the tank or you being killed.
What we're here for, and boom! Okay, but here comes an IS-3 and it just bounces off. Poor Tiger 2.
Yeah, there's nothing Tiger 2 can do against that. He doesn't have a depression for that. There's a little bit more effort into it than that.
No, that's just about it.
That was weird.
Yeah,
we can cut that out.
I'm keeping it. The first segment we're going to have is called Ask a Unicum / Tomato. I'm the Unicum, he's the Tomato. He's going to answer any tactical questions first because it's funny. And let's get right into this. This first one is by Mighty Whitey. He asks, follow the lemming or hold the weak flank?
Hold the weak flank. If you can get that point in or even disable the tank for a bit, depending on what you're playing, that may mean the difference between you killing the tank or you being killed. So that's what I say.
My opinion is it depends. If you're top tier and you think you can make the difference holding the weak flank long enough to allow your lemming train to win, then do that. Otherwise, join your lemming train and win that flank before the enemy wins the weak flank, and you'll win the game. This one's by Marco Polo. I'll answer this one. Why do you lose half your silver when selling a tank? That's because if you never lost credits when you sold a tank, you would have so much money, and Wargaming wouldn't make their money off of premium accounts or premium tanks, and it is a business, and that's how they make money.
You gotta make that bottom line.
How to use free XP effectively. I already talked to him about this, and we have the same answer. And it's don't use free XP to research the next tank. Only use it on stock tanks to get the next package. Because if you take a T-32 and a T-29, the T-29 is tier 7, and it uses a 105 fully upgraded. T-32 is a tier 8, and it uses a 90mm with a really bad turret when it's stock.
It's so bad.
So grind out the T-29, get to the T-32, then use your free XP to get hopefully the next package or two, and that'll work great. And this works for all 3 World Tanks, Blitz, console, and PC.
Versions.
Yeah, platforms. There we go. Destroyer SW, he asks what our favorite class type is and why. You may go first. So, I'm getting my stone ready.
Oh, where's your stone? So yeah, my favorite's artillery. I don't play it because I'm a noob. I'm a noob. Either or, I'm just not good at competitive video games in general. I'm a strategy player, but I play it because I enjoy staying back in the map and for supporting my team and taking out, enemies from afar, so to speak. So that's why I play it.
I like heavy tanks. I know a lot of Unicums like light tanks and medium tanks because they're better to pad your stats with. But I like heavy tanks because I think they're very impactful, especially if you know how to use them. You get to bounce off your hull. It's make the push, willing to sacrifice your hit points for the team. I like playing for the team and not playing for myself, so I like heavy tanks. Sith Killers ask, when is good matchmaking? When there's no artillery. And we'll ask one more question. Let's go to Ching Chong. How to play artillery.
There's a little bit more effort into it than that.
No, that's just about it. All right,
I have to calculate how fast the tank is going, how long the shot's gonna take to get there, and figure out.
This next segment we like to call Russian Bias. We join a T-62A going up against a full health E-100 right now.
Oh.
Okay, T-62A takes some damage, so now he's got 600 health left, and the E-100 was just full health. But I'm pretty sure we can all see where this one is gonna go. Put the shell into the side of the E-100. E-100 bounces off the turret of the T-62A. T-62As are very low profile.
Yeah.
Puts the shell into the tracks. He's gonna get. Oh, I thought he was gonna hug him again. No, he's getting to the side, pulling back. Putting another one in the tracks. He pulls in, bounces another shell off of his angled side. Takes a little bit of ram damage. Puts another shell into the tracks, and now he's going to the other side. T-62A, one of my favorite brawlers in the game, if not my favorite. Now he's got a side. E-100 misses his shot. Oh boy.
This is a poor E-100. Jeez.
Oh, T-62A bounces off the side. Goes for the tracks, bounces off. That's fine. Whatever. Hugging. What's gonna bounces off the turret again. Yep.
Man, that's hurt.
Puts another shell in, and this should be all she writes for this E100. Yep.
Alright.
So the T62A gets out without getting hit at all. Okay, 140 fighting a Jagdpanzer E100. First shell breaks the gun of the Jagdpanzer. The Jagdpanzer misses because of it. Next shell, let's see, goes into the tracks.
And penetrates.
And penetrates. Now, if you saw that little explosion when it hit the ground, it looks like this Jagdpanzer E100 is shooting heat. So keep that in mind. That's 420 millimeters of penetration. That's the most penetration in the game. 140 misses shot. Here comes a T-41 auto-loaded. First shell misses. Second shell bounces off. The next shell, well, giving him his side, bounces off again.
Yeah, that was only at like what, 40-degree angle there?
Yeah, and then finally he puts 2 shells in, but it's okay. You know,
Still pushing it.
you know, surviving 3 out of 5 shells ain't bad. But now he's got the Jaegeru. How is he gonna deal with this Jaegeru? Somebody else puts a shell in the Jaegeru. But I'm pretty sure this is what we're here for. And boom! 420 heat pen bounces off the Russian Object 140. And that's going to be it for this tank, I think. And this next one, okay, an IS. Looks like he's going to try to reset the base. And of course, 350 range. He's never going to be able to spot the base from here. This is Corellia, it looks like. And he's going to be aiming up a shot at the base. Nobody's spotted. He's trying to pick his spot. Nope, nothing there. 3 seconds left. 2 seconds. 1 second. Timer hits 0, and he kills the T-34-100 with a blind shot, resetting the base back down to 0. And now we join your favorite class, artillery. S-51 Russian boomstick boom cannon, 203 millimeters of HE destruction right here. And he's escaping the flank because it's getting capped out. And now he's aiming at an ISM who's 760 meters away. And no problem. Direct hit. Wasn't even aimed at him, but of course, Russia, no problem. Is there Russian bias in the game? Nah, definitely not. But that
Remains
was...
to be seen.
Remains, yep. That was Russian bias. The next segment we're going to jump right into is called Explaining Mechanics. And that's where we're going to talk about something in the game and explain to you how it really works. And I know a lot of you might be Eunuchums out there and thinking, oh, what can I learn from this? Trust me, we have some things in here which I bet you a lot of you didn't actually know. So stick around if you want to learn some new tricks with the spotting mechanics, which I've been doing some research on. A lot of people don't realize is you spot enemies with 2 parts of your tank. You spot them with the cupola, everybody knows that, and it spots in a 360. It doesn't matter if the enemy are in front of you, next to you, behind you, etc., etc. You spot in a 360. But the cupola has to poke around the corner or over the ridge for you to actually see. So if you, like, let's say there's a bridge in front of you and it covers your turret, and only your hull shows, you won't be able to spot through it. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Another thing you spot with is actually the mantlet, and the mantlet spots in a 180. It only spots straight out to the sides and in front. But this is very useful if you're side scraping in your cupola. Let's say you're side scraping with a T110E5. It's got a cupola on the left side, and you're side scraping with the right side of your tank. Your cupola doesn't come around the corner. You can't spot them. So what you can do is turn your turret to the right so your mantlet pokes around, and boom, you can spot the enemy that you're trying to side scrape against. And a lot of people don't realize that. So there are 2 parts of your tank that spot. It is your cupola and your mantlet. Your mantlet only spots in a 180, but it usually doesn't come into effect unless you're going around a corner, because that pokes out before the cupola. So keep that in mind. And then finally, we're going to talk about bushes and how they work. You can hear me shuffling paper because I have these nice drawings I've made.
Yeah, they're very high quality.
High quality. Definitely not going to show these on screen right now. They're definitely on screen now, that's for sure. And we're going to talk about bushes. Bushes. And you're like, oh, I've watched so many videos on bushes and I know exactly how they work. You might not. And we're going to explain to you why. So the main rule is in the bush to spot, behind the bush to shoot. Right? So you go into the bush becomes opaque, becomes transparent, and that means you can see through the bush, but the enemy can't see you. So that's how you spot through it. And then you pull back 15 meters until the bush is solid again, and you can't see through it, and then you can fire. obviously. I think a lot of people know that. If you don't, well, there you go. There's some information for you there. When you zoom in, you're looking at your mantlet. And sometimes the front of your tank is further up than your mantlet is. Like, take for instance the Waffle Panzer IV or the Object 432. The turret is further back and you have this hull that's sticking out. And just because your turret says you're 15 meters behind the bush doesn't mean your hull is. Like on the 430 version 2, if you pull back 15 meters according to your turret, the front of your hull is still 8 meters from the bush. Therefore, when you shoot, the front of your hull will light up and the enemy will spot that. So you want to make sure you pull your tank back 22 meters so that the front of your hull is only 15 meters from the bush. And the same can be said when you're trying to spot through a bush. Just because your turret's in the bush doesn't mean the front of your hull is in a bush. And you can get spotted through it just because you drive your tank up into the bush and you think, oh, my turret's in the bush, I'm safe. No, 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 the front of your tank is sticking out. Keep that in mind, guys. And that will save you a lot of hit points, especially on maps like Prokhorovka where bushes pretty much are what win the game. So.
Yeah. And let me summarize for the people who are not as skilled as him. Pretty much make sure your entire tank is at least 50 meters behind the bush, and your entire tank, or at least the front part of it, is in the bush, not sticking out.
Exactly. See, that's so much easier. Make sure that your entire tank is behind the bush.
Yeah.
Some tanks are different than others. So keep that in mind, definitely. Thank you for summarizing that. That made it simple and easy. So, yeah, let's jump to the next segment, shall we?
That was weird.
No,
we can
okay.
cut that out.
I'm keeping it.
Great.
The next part of this show is called World of Tanks. And that's where, well, World of Tanks. So let's just jump right into this. The game just updated on console, and so there are a few bugs. And by a few bugs, I mean some serious bugs. And we're joining Rage Adrenaline in his T110E5 on Severgorsk. And if you're on Blitz, you don't know what map Severgorsk is. It's a map originally from PC. And if you're a new player in PC, you don't know what it is either because it got removed. It is still on console. And this is not what it looks like.
No, not at all.
As you can see, Rage can't. He looked like he was aiming at his lower plate, but no, he hit an invisible ridge. The ground is gone. You can see all the pebbles, but you can't see the walls or the ground or anything. You're looking straight through it. You can see the buildings, but yeah, this is it. But he goes on to have a really good game, to be honest.
Yeah, despite the ground being non-existent.
So he only carries 3 heat shells, so those of you who hate heat spammers will love this. That's for sure. He does a lot of first-person aiming. I'm not very good at first-person aiming, so I need to take some notes. He's got heat loaded now for the Conqueror, so I guess he's just trying to win this. It's good.
I mean, it's a heavy tank.
I mean, it's like it's 4-9.
Yeah,
like, now's the time to load your premium rounds if you want to win the game. Oh, he's flying now. He's flying. He does put a shell into that guy. Yes, he does. And he tracks him. He's floating. His tank is floating. On
Where's
nothing.
he on?
And then look. He knows exactly where the end. How does he know? Somehow he knows this map so well. You notice how he didn't aim past the wall? He knows where the wall ends. How does he know where the wall ends?
Maybe it's
Oh, he must be looking at the map. He just knows. He's a legend. He is a legend. And now the 705 is gonna do something here.
Yeah, you know when you put too much time into a game.
Then here he comes. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Come on! No, he gets shut down and unable to crush the E5. That would be crazy. Oh, now he's floating.
Now he's floating too.
And now he's floating. Okay, floating tanks everywhere. But this game is up to almost 7,000 damage. He's blocked 4,300 damage because the E5 they say is weak. This game says otherwise. Once again, there's something in the way. He can't shoot him. Wouldn't that be funny if he could?
And just like penetration through everything.
He could just shoot through everything. There it is. There's the shot. He puts it in and finishes him off because he's able to aim past the wall. His team is still losing this game despite
catching up, though.
the damage he's done. Aiming at the lower plate, lowest part. Hits him in the ammo rack. A100 using him as cover. That's okay. That's what teammates like to do in this game. Don't worry about it, though. But just don't ask questions.
Don't question. Just do it.
But the enemy team is capturing the base. Our medium tank needs to go and reset it right now. And the medium tank is headed there now. Our E5 has decided he wants to help. I mean, it's a light tank. Okay, the 432 should easily be able to handle it. Easily. So Rage is going to come up here and assist with the VKP with the E100 because, well, you can never trust E100 drivers these days. And so 36 seconds. That 432 has plenty of time to get back to base. Plenty. It's way fast enough to get back to base. And this isn't the largest map in the world. How do you get to him? I'm sensing some struggle here. Yep.
Oh, wow.
And he's floating again because there is a wall there. And he's going to put a shell straight to the lower plate of this guy. Yes, he is. Penetrates him there. And E100 is fat. Bounces, penetrates him there. Well, okay, why hasn't the medium tank gone in yet? This is the question. There's so many things going on in this game. Invisible tanks, insane amount of damage, and a medium tank who refuses to go spot the base and reset it. You know what this sounds like to me?
Russian mines?
World of Tanks.
Ah.
And he loses the game doing 9,234 damage and blocking 5,000 damage because his friendly tank did not want to go reset. I wonder if he flipped himself. Maybe he flipped himself. I don't know how you're in one of the flattest tanks in the game. How do you manage to flip yourself? But that's just speculation. I don't know what happened. The guy had a minute and 20 seconds to get back to base.
Yeah, my tank is plenty fast.
Yeah, and he was sitting next to the base for about 40 seconds. And he never moved up. I don't understand. Maybe his controller died. Maybe he got disconnected.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Maybe his mother called him, "Son, get over here right now."
It's like some 12-year-old Fortnite kid.
Yeah, it's 12-year-old. Oh, that's what happened. He was just about to reset the base, and his friends invited him to play Fortnite. He's like, okay, quit.
He just abandoned.
They abandoned the game to go play Fortnite.
Abandoned the mission.
I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case.
I would not be surprised either.
No. Let's get to the next segment.
I found a diamond, yeah.
The next segment we like to call Hidden Gems, and that's where we take a look at tanks that are actually better than people think. And they're not played that much. They're hidden gems. Like, who knew? I knew. That's why.
Well, he obviously knew.
I knew. I did my research, and I found the 110, and it's a perfect tank to talk about today because it's also brand new on Blitz. Those of you who play on Blitz just got this tank, or like a couple months ago. So, if you haven't started grinding this, now's your chance. This tank is really good. And it is.
Go. Well, wait.
Yeah, it's a tier 8 Chinese heavy tank. It's got a pike nose like the IS-3, but the pike nose just works better. And we're going to get into some stats on the tank. There we go. It's got 2,000 base DPM, 320 alpha, 215 penetration. And yeah, here's the pike right here. As you can see, look at this effective armor. 300, 200. The pike nose was 260 when looking at it. The cupolas are small. Yes, they're weak. The lower plate is weak as well. But look at it, when you use your 6 degrees of gun depression, look at this upper plate, 320 effective. And then the cupolas are even harder to hit. Like, this is insane. And then you look at the IS-3, look how bad this armor is compared to 200. Then when you use its 5 degrees of gun depression, and 220, 250 in some places. Lower plate is bad. Turret is really good though on this, though you have this really blaring weak spot up top. But let's get to some gameplay. This is Blitz, in case you guys are wondering, and we join a T10 who's going to be side-scraping because it's so narrow, it can side-scrape really well against a Panther 2 and a Yag Panther 2. And look at the reload's not bad either. It's a 6.1 second reload on Blitz.
Yeah, what's the penetration in it?
It should be 215. It might be different on Blitz, but I think the penetration is usually the same on Blitz, but the alpha might be a little different. It looks like the alpha is more around 300 on Blitz, but it's pretty good. It has more hit points on Blitz.
Yeah, it's not significant.
It takes a hit there because it pokes around a little too far, and as you see, the armor is very defeatable if you're not facing. But here comes an IS-3, and it just bounces off the front plate like that. Easy peasy. And now he's going to finish off this Yag Panther 2. No problem. Once again, because look at the narrow hull. His front hull never even pokes around the corner. It's pretty crazy. And now I'm showing this. This is PC, and as you can see, the ammo rack is right in the side of the pike nose. If you angle your pike nose like this guy just did, trying to get in position, you will get ammo racked, and that's what happened to him here. But now you're going to see the turret, it kind of gets defeated a couple times here, but not reliably, and he's here by himself. If he had like teammates with him, he would not have an issue. Not at all. But yeah, you see Tiger P is bouncing off, artillery there, and the reload makes it so he's able to kill this artillery rather quickly compared to an IS-3. An IS-3 wouldn't be able to one-shot him reliably, and he gets hit anyway and stunned, unfortunately. But he does have a med kit for that, and he fixes it. But an IS-3 would take 11 seconds to reload instead of 8, so it would take 11 seconds to kill the artillery instead of 8. And, maybe that artillery wouldn't have enough time to aim in. So that helps too. Now we have a T10, 110, sorry, now 1v1ing a Tiger 2. And look how low profile this tank is. Look how low he is on the Tiger. He's shooting standard straight through the upper plate of the Tiger 2. Rest in peace, Tiger 2. And look at this tank with its
Traction right
260 millimeters of effective upper plate armor unangled. He's just able to just bully this poor Tiger 2.
Yeah, there's nothing Tiger 2 can do against that. He doesn't have the depression for that.
He doesn't have the depression. Now he's aiming at his cupolas. This guy's rocking back and forth. Goes in, keeps retracting with the ram, but then you're going to see when he backs up a little too far, the shell goes right through the lower plate. That's to be expected. He backed up a little bit too far to get his gun down, but he's going to beat his reload and aim up a shot at his lower plate and finish him off. And
just like that.
I think this is a better tank than the IS-3.
I think so too.
I think its armor works. Its gun is more reliable.
It's faster reload too.
Faster reload, better DPM. Granted, the T30 IS-3 has the bigger alpha and has the better penetration, but the circle is huge and it doesn't like to get much smaller. And then the armor is super defeatable on the IS-3. You saw this thing's armor. If you hide its lower plate, what are 6s and 7s supposed to do against you?
Mm-hmm. And if you're playing as a brawler, I think it's much better than the IS-3 because you have that faster reload and you have that slim build, and you can just hide behind stuff, go right up against them because it's so low. And if they don't have the depression, they can't do anything against you.
It's a surprisingly good tank. I was playing through it a couple months ago, and I was pleasantly surprised. A lot of people like the Tier 9 WZ-111-14 better than the Tier 8 tier for tier. I personally like the Tier 8 a little bit more than the upgraded Tier 9. I think that Tier 8 was much more of a bully against its own tier than the Tier 9 was against its own tier. So that's my analysis of the tank. But we're going to get to our final segment of the day. Welcome to the last segment called What's in the News, or This is the News. I don't know what to call it yet. I'll probably have something flash up. It'll be a good name, and then we'll call it that from now on. So a little bit of time has passed in between making the outro and the rest of the show. And during that time, the mic actually broke. So I apologize. We are using the mic from the camera. But you know what? You can still hear us, and I do apologize about that, but here it is anyway. You are different.
I've changed in many ways, from the inside and out. But mainly the out.
It was mostly the last session. I think it had something to do with playing artillery. Yes. Well, no, this is like 3 weeks later because we want to make sure any news we give you are fresh and not outdated. And so we're going to jump into news on PC real fast. Each one we're going to spend about 60 seconds in. And PC, wheeled vehicles are out on the test server.
Because in a game with tanks, you need wheels. There's no mud.
They're fast. They go real fast. The Tier 10, I think, goes 105 kilometers an hour.
It's ridiculous.
So because they're out on the public test server, that means we probably have about 2 weeks, give or take, until they come out on the live server. So get ready for that. That's going to be awesome. Now,
you have to ram your friends and kill yourself at 105 kilometers.
105. I saw some epic wipeouts. I think Quickie Baby had a really good one.
This is just insane how fast this thing is. The map just feels small now. Look at this. What the blazes? As I took off into orbit! What? It's so fast!
Oh dear.
But here is the big thing I think a lot of you, if you're from Blitz, want to know about. Blitz is having update 5.7.
Yeah, and we'll put this up on the screen for you.
Probably not. Maybe. I'm lazy. And
depending on how aerodynamic we are.
They're nerfing the Death Star. The Death Star is getting, wow. Headphone users, watch out. So, as you can see, FV215B 183 for those of you who don't know. Traverse speed is being decreased from 33 degrees a second to 26 degrees a second. That's a lot slower it turns.
Mm-hmm.
Dispersion at 100 meters increased from 0.38 to 0.43. That's a nerfing. And the vehicle's concealment while moving stationary and upon firing was decreased. They don't tell you exactly what, but that's the big thing in Blitz that we're going to let you know about. But now we're going to jump over to console. And in console, well...
Do we have to console the players?
Well, there's something big going on. And rather than us telling you, let's show you. that's it. That's the news. Real quick and concise. We just want to hit the big details that I'm sure all of you are most excited about, or haven't. If you've been living under a rock and you didn't know about wheeled vehicles, then that's really a shame.
I am a tomato for a reason.
Yeah, he is a tomato. He is a tomato. That's why he plays artillery. Anyway, I think that's it.
All right.
That's the episode.
Well, I hope you enjoy our first episode of Double Tracked.
Yep. Next time, it will probably still be just as bad
And cringy.
and cringy. Edits are bad. Commentators are cringy. What was the other thing? Oh, and the camera is fuzzy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that bad.
No, the camera's good. It was fuzzy.
I got a 1080p, but...
Then we switched it over. Anyway, now we're just rambling, but that's kind of what I do. Anyway, every one of my videos, like, you talk too much. Talk too much. But anyway, that's it. Thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, slap that like button. Let others know about the show, because the show's only going to get better. This is our first time. So from now on, it's got to get better. Hopefully I'll...